Well, the Democrats did it. Oh, I know the spin, the Republicans with the nuclear option and so forth and so on. But let's be honest with each other. For the last really 15, 16, 17 years, the Democrats have created a scenario in which this was inevitable. It started under George W. Bush, where they claimed, of course, that Al Gore won the popular vote. So George W. Bush is an illegitimate president because he won the Electoral College, and they say the Supreme Court appointed him, even though I explained in Men in Black how that's not true, but they don't care. Now we have another Republican president. They claim he's illegitimate. He didn't win the popular vote. He only won the Electoral College. We ought to get rid of the Electoral College. That's not legitimate either, even though that's the only way under our Constitution you can actually become president or vice president for that matter. And that's the way every Democrat's been president or vice president. So they trashed that too. Then we had a tradition in this country. You don't filibuster judicial nominees. They broke that, Harry Reid and Chuck Schumer, when George W. Bush was president of the United States. And they systematically went over his circuit court nominees and threatened to filibuster or filibustered them, and then they had to have a deal in order to push the Democrats back off of that. Then we have the presidency of Barack Obama. So the Republicans, while confirming most of his nominees, slow walk a few of them. That's not enough. Not enough for Chuck Schumer and Harry Reid. So they absolutely reversed course. I spent most of yesterday's show on this. They reversed course. Now, all of a sudden, they don't like the filibuster rule. So they vote what's called the nuclear option. And the nuclear option is a simple majority is required to confirm a judge at the district court, lower level, or the circuit court, appellate level. But we'll leave the Supreme Court alone for now. We'll leave them. So they reverse course. First, they use the filibuster in a way that is absolutely unprecedented in American history. Then they abolish the filibuster in a way that's absolutely unprecedented since we've had the filibuster in the United States Senate. And now today, even though they never had enough votes on an up and down vote to stop Neil Gorsuch from becoming a Supreme Court justice, an associate justice, they went ahead with the filibuster. They went ahead with the filibuster. They only had 43 senators to support it, but all they needed was 41. And that's exactly what they did. And the same tyrant, and that's the right word, the same tyrant who's been involved in hatching this strategy and this scenario every step of the way, Chuck Schumer, absolutely reckless. He did it again. And so to his credit, for once, Mitch McConnell responded only as he could to uphold the constitutional system. And so the Republicans voted, a simple majority vote is necessary now to approve a Supreme Court justice. Now, we're going to hear from McConnell briefly. I want you to hear Schumer, Feinstein, a few of the others, then we'll move on to another topic. But that said, as I explained yesterday, the United States Senate was changed forever with the 17th Amendment. And that started this slippery slope. This is what the progressives, the utopian statists, this is what they've always wanted. They destroy the institutions set up in our constitutional system because they destroy the constitutional system. They want a centralized government. They want an all-powerful government. And you might say, well, aren't they scared of tyranny and so forth? No, because they hope to run the whole damn thing. And right now, they kind of do, don't they? Look at how they're able to put the brakes on Trump's agenda. Look how they're able to put the brakes on the Republican agenda. I know we'll get Gorsuch through, but what does this mean in the future? This means when the Democrats have the presidency, and they're going to have the presidency a lot with the changing demographics, again, a political move, with the way that the voting is occurring, more and more Democrat at the national level, not the local and state level. Well, they're going to have the presidency. They're going to have the opportunity to appoint people to the Supreme Court, and they will appoint leftists, hardcore leftists. What will the Republicans do? Well, we'll always have about a half a dozen or 10 Republicans who won't go along with putting a strong, unapologetic originalist on the court. They won't go along with it. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, you can name them all, John McCain, and so forth and so on. They will object. We will always have these kinds of Republicans. They never have those kinds of Democrats. And you saw it even today. So here is Mitch McConnell as he announces the so-called nuclear option today. Go.
Live pictures here, the floor of the United States Senate. It is a momentous day in that chamber. Momentous in the sense that the nomination of Neil Gorsuch to join the Supreme Court will move forward today. Momentous that to get it done, Republicans are about to change the Senate rules.
Now stop. See, this is the way it works at CNN. CNN has exposed itself. It's fully out of the closet now. So the Republicans are changing it. No, the Republicans are responding to what Schumer did. That's exactly what's going on. Go ahead.
We need to restore the norms and traditions of the Senate and get past this unprecedented partisan filibuster. Therefore, I raise a point of order that the vote on cloture under the precedent set on November 21st, 2013 is a majority vote on all nominations.
So he's saying the precedent set. That's the precedent set by Harry Reid and Schumer, the Democrats, on the federal district court, on the federal circuit court nominations, and he's saying now we have to apply it to all the nominations to the federal courts, including the Supreme Court. CNN doesn't care about the truth. They'll keep pushing the Democrat agenda because they really are an appendage of the Democrat Party and of the progressive movement. They are the Praetorian Guard media, exactly what I've said. Schumer the other day, obstruction led to the Gorsuch filibuster. Let's hear what this fool has to say. Go ahead.
Mr. President, there are clearly principled reasons to oppose Judge Gorsuch, and enough of we Democrats have reasons to prevent his nomination from moving forward on Thursday's cloture vote. So the question is no longer whether Judge Gorsuch will get enough votes on the cloture motion. The question is now, will the majority leader and our friends on the other side break the rules of the Senate to approve Judge Gorsuch?
See, this is how, I have to be honest, this is the Saul Alinsky propaganda stuff. And you heard CNN say it, and they're following Chuck Schumer's lead. So what the Republicans need to do is roll over and accept Chuck Schumer as the minority leader in the Senate, controlling President Trump's judicial efforts, controlling the nominations to the Supreme Court, and controlling the court. Now, if the Republicans will only do that, there's no need to change the rule. In other words, if the Republicans will join the Democrats in destroying the Republicans and the Constitution, there'd be no conflict. But see how he twists it? And see how the media regurgitate it? Go ahead.
Majority vote. That question should be the focus of the debate here on the floor, and it should weigh heavily on the conscience of every senator. Unfortunately, ultimately, my Republican friends face a simple choice. They can fundamentally alter the rules and traditions of this great body, or they can sit down with us Democrats.
That's enough. He's such a sleazeball. It's just hard. It is hard not to just, every time you see him, to respond in a fury, isn't it? He's so dishonest, so deceitful. It's just incredible. But he knows he has a Praetorian Guard media that will advance whatever propaganda he says. He's a hypocrite. It doesn't matter. He is inconsistent. It doesn't matter. He's partisan to the detriment of the nation, and it doesn't matter. They want their agenda instituted, and they will fight for the Supreme Court come hell or high water, because they have empowered that court over the last century to have the final say in damn near anything that court wants to have the final say in. And so they insist on controlling it. It's become like a judicial Politburo in the hands of the left.